Hello and welcome to this episode of How to Be a Great Why is it so dark? Oh, that's right! It's the behind the scenes episode. This week we're looking at how do you make an episode of How to Be a Great GM and how can you do it at home. So the very first thing that we need to look at is, well, as you can see behind me, lights. And I haven't even set this up properly. That's how behind the scenes it is. I'm going to go back a bit. I'm going to scrub through everything else. There we go. So behind the scenes is behind me now. We can't see anything. Why? Because, and now I'm going to go to that slide. If you then have a look, lights are the most important thing if you want to do video correctly. We're going to talk about sound. Sound is at the bottom because that is the one area that you need to make the most attention of. You need to really focus on your sound. But we're going to look at lights to begin with because we've got a green screen set up. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Now, when it comes to choosing lights for your channel, as you can see at the moment, I'm sitting under a standard light in the middle of the room, the ceiling above me. That's a standard light. It's not actually a standard light. I've been lying to you a little bit. That light up there has got a lumen count, a very high lumen count. Now we talk about lumens, so there's wattage, and in the old days there was a 20 watt and a 100 watt light bulb and all that kind of nonsense. Nowadays we generally are going to be using LEDs anyway, and we talk about lumens. Now lumen count, the higher the better. So this one above me is 5,000 lumens, and the ones that I'm going to turn on now are also 5,000 lumens. So we're trying to get as much light into the scene as humanly possible. So I'm going to go and turn on these two lights. And yes, well, it's always important, by the way, to wear pants when you're making videos. I know there's an urge not to, but pants are important. So I'm going to turn on these two lights here. So I've got a circular light over here, and it's about 1 meter or 3 feet off from where I'm going to be sitting. Now, that's incredibly bright to stare directly into it. I wouldn't recommend that you do that. Moving over to this side, I've got another light hanging, another circular light. That's also 5,000 lumens in count. And then right at the back over here, I've got another little light, and that's just for the background. So now you can start to see the green screen automatically has started to look better. And when I sit down in front of the camera, oh, well, hello and how do you do? Now you can see me. There is this little problem here though behind me with green screen. Now with green screen you've got to try and fill up the entire space behind you. You can crop things out and you'll see that when I do, your hand suddenly disappears, and I don't like that personally. So I try and fill up the space behind me. So what I did, I went and bought some green fabric cloth. It really is not expensive. And then I suspended it from a pole. So I'm just going to close up this gap now, because this is the doorway into the passage. I'm just going to close up this gap. Here we go, just like that. And not very professional-like, but it does the job. Now that it's hanging relatively smoothly, we've closed the gap. And so now we have, when I take my position, a pretty solid green screen behind us. And that's all because of the lighting. So 1, 2, 3 lights. So 2 in front of you. If you're like me and you wear glasses, you will notice that if you can watch some of my older videos, some of my earlier videos, there was lots of reflections of the lights in there. So I had to try and figure out how to get rid of them. They are still there if I look in a very specific way, but generally speaking, I keep my chin down and I can talk to you. It also sort of helps hide the dictionary of chins that I have underneath me. So that's the lighting situation. And I think that's important to set up. Camera-wise, the camera, if you want to just come in closer. Here, my wonderful assistant who's helping me today. If you want to come in closer, there you go. Hello. This is the camera that I will be using. It is a Logitech CR922. It is pretty much the stock standard in cameras most YouTubers will use. And there's an HD version that's come out now as well, but that costs an absolute fortune. So I would not recommend buying that. I would go for a camera that you can afford and that gives you a good picture. If you want to do green screen, the CR922 is absolutely perfect if you've got all the lights set up. Now, audio-wise, we go to this big boy up here. there. This is not the Blue Yeti, although it might look like the Blue Yeti. The Blue Yeti, of course, is the stock standard. Everyone talks about the Blue Yeti. This is the Samson. The Samson equivalent of a Blue Yeti. It sells for about half the price, and as far as I'm concerned, it does, well, pretty much the same job. You'll see that I've got it on an extender arm so that I can lower it quite easily. I can lower it down, I can lift it up, I can move it backwards, I can move it forwards. My camera is also on an extender arm with plenty of tape around it just for added security. And so that's the basics of it. Then something that's also important to have in terms of your studio, if you're like me, is to have a handy number of wipes. Now in Africa this didn't really help. The room got ridiculously hot, so there was just nothing for it. You were just stuck with whatever the temperature was. So try and control your temperature. It just looks better. It really does. Let's move on very quickly then. Technologically wise, I don't know if you can actually film the screen. Does it flicker? I don't know. Have a look. So we're going to be using OBS. I use OBS. I have stacks of OBS all over the place with different layers and scenes and sources, and there's plenty of videos on how to set that up. It's entirely up to you what you want to use. I use Photoshop for creating all my thumbnails and all the post work and that kind of thing. And then I use Adobe Premiere. Why Adobe Premiere and not something else? It's something that I grew up on. I learned how to use it. It's very easy. Their pricing structure, it might seem a bit heavy, and if you're just starting out, don't worry about it. You can find all kinds of editing software online, and YouTube actually allows you to do a pretty good editing job as well if you're not trying to do too many things in your video itself. OBS is doing these pieces of text behind me. I can run the opening in OBS if I wanted to, so you really also can just do the whole thing live in OBS if you so choose. There are others, I don't know of them, but I'm sure people will leave the link below who do. Post-wise, we talk thumbnails. Thumbnails are a very tricky thing. Is that a thumbnail? Is that a good thumbnail? Is that a good thumbnail? Is that a good thumbnail? I don't know. And you'll have noticed that on the channel we have had so many attempts to work out what thumbnails work. We've been accused of clickbaiting. We've been accused of being the... Sorry, whenever I see a camera, I just kind of get stuck in mode. You've got to figure out what works for you and what works for your channel. You've got to look at what other channels are doing, see what they are kind of putting up, what's working for them, and then figure out how it fits with you as well. How does it sit within your space? Community, community, community. That's what everybody talks about. It's all about community. It's all about having people to help you, whether they are moderating your Twitch stream, whether they are moderating your live stuff, whether they are on your Discord, whether they are helping you with Twitter, wherever it might be. You need to get out there and you need to engage with your people on any format you can. So whether it's this kind of format where we're using a cell phone, or is it this kind of format, it doesn't matter. You've got to try and get out there. What's the magic solution to all of that? Just being there. And the bottom line is you have to have fun. Now, if you don't have fun doing all of this, it doesn't matter how many lights you've got, it doesn't matter whether you've got a green screen, it doesn't matter whether you've got someone to help you to record behind the scenes kinds of videos, it doesn't matter what camera you have or what software you use, it's not going to translate well. So whatever you do, if you're having fun, you're going to get there. Now, I look at some of the early videos on this channel and I'm like, oh my God. We didn't even start using this camera when we started the channel. We were using all sorts of other bits and pieces. Until eventually we said, hey, let's just use our cell phones. And then we said, well, why don't we upgrade and buy a Logitech camera? Logitech did not sponsor this, by the way. My camera is actually called a Logicool, which is the name of Logitech in Japan because of copyright reasons. Nonetheless, there are some very quick behind the scenes of how to set up your own YouTube channel, maybe even your Twitch channel. Twitch's got a whole bunch of other stuff to it, though, and I'm still busy learning that. Anyway, until next time, I wish you and yours the very happiest of YouTube channel creation, and of course of gaming. Now if I press this button here, nothing happens. Behind the scenes, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and it sort of never does. Oh, there we go, now it's worked. Okay, so one click and it's done. Anyway, until next time, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button if you want to be alerted to other stuff. What else do I have to talk about? Oh yes, make your own videos and share them with us. We want to see what you're doing. We want to see into your world of role-playing and gaming. Share it with us. Do it now.